Coming up, a slice of life look at 20th century Vienna.
An eerie near-future story and a fey fantasy.
Plus, our distraction of the week. I'm Mel.
I'm Dave. This is the Library of Lost Time.
Prior to this week, I was not familiar with the novels of Austrian author Robert Seethaler. And now I want to read all of his books.
Oh, all right.
He seems to specialize in short novels, like around 200, 250 pages, something like that, that capture the tender, painful beauty of life through quiet stories. His first book, The Tobacconist, is set in Vienna during the Nazi occupation, and it tells the story of a teenage apprentice at a tobacco shop and his friendship with Sigmund Freud.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He followed that with a novel called The Field, which I wish I'd known about for our cemetery episode. It tells the story of a small town through the voices of the souls in its cemetery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he has a new one out. It's called The Café with No Name. It's set in 1966 Vienna, when the city is still recovering emotionally from World War II. At the heart of the story is 31-year-old Robert. He was raised in a home for war orphans and now makes his living doing odd jobs in the market. And one day, the cafe in the corner of the market is put up for rent. This is not an Art Nouveau cafe with crystal chandeliers, stained glass, and waiters in black bow ties.
Okay.
It's a ramshackle sort of place that serves beer, lemonade, and pickles, not layer cakes and fancy coffee. But Robert signs the lease to, quote, do something which would give his life a positive affirmation, to one day stand behind the bar of his own establishment. So the novel traces the story of the cafe and the characters who become regulars.
That sounds like a fantasy I could get behind.
Right?
Yeah.
So the novel traces the story of the cafe and the characters who become regulars there. So there are girls who work in the yarn factory, the local butcher, a bill collector with a glass eye, a cheesemonger. One review said, while the premise of lost souls drifting together in a scruffy cafe may not be wildly original, the funny, sad characters are finely drawn and remarkably vivid. Vienna also plays a part in the story with famous landmarks like Demmel's Pastry Shop, St. Stephen's Cathedral, the Reisenrad Ferris Wheel, and the Danube River all making appearances. It sounds to me like it could be a spiritual cousin to Still Life by Sarah Winman.
Remind me about that book.
That is the story of a found family in post-World War II Florence, Italy. I'm 100% here for all of that. This book is The Café with No Name by Robert Seethaler and translated by Katy Derbyshire.
This week I couldn't decide on just one new release to tell you about, so I'm going to go with two.
So you're cheating, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much.
Write down the date.
These books are very different from one another, but they both grab my attention because of the authors. The first is a literary science fiction novel. It's by Laila Lalami. You might know her from The Moor's Account. That book imagined the trip of the first African man to explore the Americas back in the 1500s. He's a real-life historical figure, and we know almost nothing about him. There was a line written about him in the 1500s, and Lalami took a tiny fragment of history and built a vivid, moving story around that. The Moor's Account was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in 2014. Lalami's latest is out. It's called The Dream Hotel. It is a very different story. It's set in the near future. A woman is detained at LAX while she's returning from a conference. She's arrested not for anything she did, but for something an agency believes she might do. She's taken to a mysterious detention center and joins a group of women fighting to prove their innocence for crimes they have not yet committed. And it sounds both unsettling and timely.
Yeah, that's a cool premise.
Yeah. On the far other side of fantasy, the second book is from Amal El-Mohtar. You might know her as the co-author of This Is How You Lose the Time War.
Oh.
Yeah. That book is a beloved story about two soldiers and their relationship across multiple timelines. It broke a lot of hearts and won all the awards back in 2018, Nebula, Hugo, and Locus. Now, El Motar is back with The River Has Roots. It's about two sisters who live on the edge of the Fey Lands. The sisters are bound together even in death. This is a modern fairy tale. One blurb calls it, quote, half delicious murder ballad, half beguiling love story.
Whoa, that sounds good.
Yeah, and another writer on Goodreads just said, I want to live wrapped in this book.
That's really nice.
Yeah. I can't decide which of these I'll pick up first, but they're both on the list. The first is The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami. The second is The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar.
The radio's humming, the night feels sweet, dancing in the kitchen to a lazy beat. The world's got troubles, but let's not speak, darling, this is our distraction of the week. Then so pull me close.
When the online word game Wordle took over the internet in 2021, I started playing every day with my friend Ellen.
Was it 2021?
It was 2021. She and I have never stopped.
Yeah.
I know some people have kind of fallen out of their Wordle habit. We're committed. We take turns each day picking out a new starting word.
Usually it's relevant to your lives somehow.
It is. Sometimes, like, maybe it's snowy when it storms, or tired comes up frequently.
Yep.
For a while, we picked themes. So we did a run of bird names. We did cooking terms. I think we did gardening stuff at one point. Anything to like keep our curiosity going, basically.
Yeah. And it's a nice way to check in once a day.
It is. It's a really nice way to just be like, hey, I'm thinking of you. We send each other like the applauding hand emojis. A stunningly high percentage of the time, we guess exactly the same words in exactly the same order.
Yeah, that's a little spooky.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But also really fun.
Yeah.
And then we text each other, jinx. Then in 2023, the New York Times released Connections, which is another fun word game. In that game, you figure out the hidden associations among a set of words and sort them into 4 categories. This one, you and I play together.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need hints.
I feel like we give each other hints on a fairly equitable basis there.
So that's become my sort of first thing in the morning, maybe over breakfast, little word game time.
These days, instead of reaching for my phone and checking out the news, I will launch up my little puzzle app and do my little puzzles.
Right.
And it's nice.
So I have a new word puzzle for everyone.
Yep.
A few weeks ago, I was introduced to the game Order Up. It was created by a copywriter and puzzle maker named Adam Wagner. He's a crossword constructor for the New York Times and the New Yorker. I also learned by snooping around his LinkedIn that he graduated from Brown University and he was like on the edges of showbiz for a while.
Oh.
So he did production stuff for Jimmy Kimmel Live, The Late Show with David Letterman, and the movie Moonrise Kingdom. He seems very clever.
Yeah.
And he said that he loves words and he loves themes, so he made a game about them. That free online game is Order Up. The object of the game is to put a list of items in order based on a theme, like arranging foods by the color of the rainbow or animals by their number of limbs. You get 5 chances to put the list in the correct order. And the feedback is pretty good. It's clear where you've gone wrong, so you can move things around to find the solution. I like this game for 3 reasons. 1, it's quick, it's fun, and for me, it's the right level of challenging. The themes aren't always immediately apparent. You have to kind of figure out what he's going for, and it's just tricky enough to make you think a little bit, or make me think a little bit, without getting frustrated. And if you can't figure out what the theme is, you can click on a hint.
Yeah, there's a title that kind of gives you a head nod in the direction of the theme. But if you get stuck, or if you're just curious, you can click a help button and it'll tell you exactly what the theme is.
Exactly. The second thing I like is that the themes make me laugh. It's all pretty lighthearted. Our recent theme was called Cup Up, and the list of phrases included shell game, bra, 1 gallon, and Starbucks cup sizes. So you had to figure out how many cups were in each item and then put them in ascending or descending order.
And when you say cups, we're not talking about a liquid measure. We're talking about the number of cups in the set.
It depends.
Oh, okay.
Because you have shell game, and then you have a gallon.
Right. How many cups in a gallon?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which I got wrong, by the way.
Did you?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
I know. What a dum-dum.
I mean, I would not know that either, but I'm surprised you didn't.
Another one was called A Puzzle with Layers. And the terms were rainbow cake, red onion, cheapest toilet paper option, and Earth's atmosphere. And that brings me to the third thing I really like about this game. It gives you the complete solution at the end. So I sometimes learn interesting random facts. For example, I don't know how many layers there are in the Earth's atmosphere.
Right.
I'm just going to share my ignorance right here.
Sure.
But when they give you the solution, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe it sticks. It's kind of like watching Jeopardy in that way.
Yeah.
A recent puzzle was about the world's deepest depths. And I learned about the Kola Super Deep Borehole.
That sounds like a bunch of syllables you just slapped together for no reason at all.
So I'm going to take that to mean you don't know what that is.
The Kola Super Deep Borehole.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the deepest human-made hole on Earth.
Okay.
It's in Russia, near the Norwegian border.
Of course it is.
The hole is 7.6 miles deep, or 12.2 kilometers.
That's a deep hole, and yet also there's a lot more Earth there.
You are correct.
Yeah.
The drill only got about 1/3 of the way through the Earth's crust before the project was halted by the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1989.
Oh.
But it was commemorated on a stamp. Also, according to local lore, it's so deep you can hear the screams of souls tortured in hell.
According to who?
The locals.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
They must find that disturbing.
I would think. Another article I read said that was debunked. And I was like, yeah. Thank you for spelling that out.
That's funny.
Anyway, that's kind of thing that might show up in Order Up. And I just find that really, really fun.
Yeah.
If you too were obsessed with the Guinness Book of World Records when you were like 8 years old, and you have your own ritual around daily word games, you might like Order Up too. Visit strongsenseofplace.com/library for more on the books we talked about today and links to all the word games I recommended.
Thanks for joining us in the Library of Lost Time. Remember to visit your local library and your independent bookstore to lose some time yourself.
Stay curious. We'll talk to you soon.